Hey everyone, Joe Ramstead here, coming to you live from my parents' patio. Unfortunately, my MacBook decided to quite literally explode in my face earlier this week, so it's in the repair shop. I'm getting a couple of quick fixes. Hopefully I'll have it by the end of the week, but that means at this point I'm stuck using a laptop that does not have a camera, and for this assignment I am recording from my iPhone so I can still see, or you can still see me as I'm explaining where we're going with this. But this week I was really interested to learn a little bit more about the No Child Left Behind legislation. It's something that I had heard a lot about, but not really taken the time to unpack or learn more about through teacher education and through my time in my 3 or 4 years as a high school agriculture teacher. And it's a term that I've heard thrown around, but have not had the time to unpack or learn more about. So I was very grateful that we got to look at that this week. And I actually went ahead and found a resource that looks at the No Child Left Behind Act from the perspective of career and technical education. It really opened my eyes to how it did impact career and technical education at the secondary level, but also at the post-secondary level. So this article was in the Education Today magazine and was written by William G. Camp and Betty Heath Camp. And it really does a nice job of unpacking the rich history that is the American education system, right? We want to provide students of all ages and all backgrounds with rigorous experiences. And the No Child Left Behind Act definitely did strengthen the rigor of the American education system and teacher preparation and so on and so forth. But at the same time, we invested a lot of resources into strengthening of math and science and social studies and the core areas of the American education system. And career technical education, unfortunately, kind of took the wayside in some ways, according to the viewpoints of these authors. And less resources or less time was available for students to take career and technical education classes because we were loading them with additional English, math, science, social studies, so on and so forth. I know for me as a high school ag teacher, my students really struggle finding time in their course schedules to take agriculture classes because they're so bombarded with all of the requirements that they have from the different departments around the school that they need in order to graduate high school. And electives in career and technical education don't necessarily fulfill those standards to graduate. Now, some schools, and this is not specifically discussed in this article, but some schools, including the one that I am currently at, we do offer courses like agricultural economics or food chemistry to help satisfy, say, the economics requirement or the chemistry requirement for graduation. And that is kind of nice because students can double dip and meet those prescribed minimums to graduate while also having some time in the ag department. And I think that's a really beneficial tool. And not all states have that, but Minnesota fortunately does offer opportunities for students in that area. This article goes on to talk about the impact that the rigor and challenge offered by the course frameworks and the legislation in the No Child Left Behind Act had on the American education system, but also then talks about the impact that it had on post-secondary education. And obviously, if the demand for career and technical education courses goes down at the high school level, well, that's only going to negatively impact the demand for career and technical education teacher preparation programs at the post-secondary level. And there's a section of this article that specifically addresses that and talks about how the funding and how the different resources that were available for teacher preparation programs were diminishing or being redistributed across the post-secondary education system. And then also provides a really nice call to action at the end of the journal article that kind of encourages us to stay involved and speak out for the impact of career and technical education and the impact that it's had on the American education system. So overall, I thought this was a very helpful resource. I mean, taking the information that we learned about the No Child Left Behind legislation in class and applying it from the mindset of a career and technical education teacher, I thought was a very good way to kind of apply and bridge what we're learning to hopefully what some of us are doing day to day here in our classroom. So thank you so much for bearing with me with this low quality video footage, but hopefully you find the resource to be very helpful. I will be sure to link that in our weekly discussion post, and I hope you all have a great rest of your week and take care.